What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Monster Hunter Wilds build video. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be showing you my raw damage sword and shield build. This build does it all for you. It's very versatile. It's got some comfort thrown in there as well, and then we do some damage as well. So, as always, guys, if you want a more detailed version of this build, I do have my Mobalytics link down in the description below if you want a more detailed version of this build. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first, we're going to be going over our weapon, which is an RTN weapon. And this time I was able to get the god roll of all god rolls. I was able to get full attack infusions with the blast element with full attack and one sharpness boost in there. This is pretty much the peak of what you want to go for when crafting the RTN weapons. So for the helmet, we have Guardian Fulgurhound Beta. The chest, we have Arc Vulcan Male Beta. The arms, we have Guardian Arkfeld Van Braces. For the waist, we have Guardian Arkfeld Coil Betas, and for the legs, we're using the Udra Meyergreaves Beta. For the talisman, I threw in the Challenger Charm 2. So for the decos, we have Critical Jewel 3, Guardian Handicraft Jewel 3, Razor Sharp Handicraft Jewel 3. Then for the helmet, I threw in Earplugs 2. For the chest, I have Chain Jewel 3 and Earplugs 2. For the gauntlets, I have all Protection Jewel 1s. Then I have Earplugs 2 and Shockproof Jewel 1 for co-op play. And then Challenger Jewel 3 and Adapt Jewel 1. Just personal preference, you can swap this out for anything else. But for the skills, we have full stacks of Offensive Guard, Razor Sharp, Agitate, Weakness Exploit, Divine Blessing, and Earplugs. And then a little bit of Burst, Flare, Handicraft, Critical Boost, and Weakness Exploit thrown in the mix. So that way we can deal all sorts of damage from all sorts of sources. Now, the reason why I'm going with Agitator and Earplugs, because like I said, this has a little bit of comfort in there. So the Earplugs, I feel like, are just, I love using earplugs because I hate having to hear the monster roar and then you get stunned for a second. And in this case, you can just constantly just do damage while they're sitting there just roaring. And the reason why I have full agitators is because pretty much 80 to 90% of the fight, the monster is constantly enraged. So with earplugs, we can just deal damage while they're roaring, and then we do get that attack buff. So it's just a DPS option in my opinion. So that way when they are enraged, we get the full stack of agitator, and then we can just constantly damage them with earplugs because we don't have to worry about getting stunned. And then the reason why I threw offensive guard in the mix is because with a sword and shield build, we do have a shield to block with. So getting off those power clashes, getting those perfect guards off, then that will also help us out as well. So it just goes well with the sword and shield. So anytime we are able to block, offensive guard is usually a must win in those builds. And then for the comfort side of things, we have Divine Blessing, we have Shockproof, so for co-op play, we don't have to worry about getting stunned or interrupted while attacking the monster. And then Divine Blessing is just to have some more damage reduction if we do get hit. But usually with Sword and Shield, it's kind of hard to get hit because we're very agile with our moveset. We can block, we can do all sorts of things. We're very mobile with the Sword and Shield, so it's just an extra layer of protection with Divine Blessing. And then we do have Razor Sharp and Handicraft, so that way we don't really have to worry about sharpening our weapon as we're dealing damage throughout the entire hunt. I was able to fight this Tempered Raid Owl with a group of hunters, and I don't think I sharpened my blade once because it stayed above the, I think it stayed above the blue sharpness level pretty much the entire fight. So that's another thing that we don't have to worry about. So like I said, ultimate comfort with the raw damage as well. And then the reason why I'm throwing Blast in the mixed here is because with Blast is kind of like a passive element type that's really good for raw damage builds, and let me tell you why. So with Blast, we can it's pretty much a hidden meter that gets applied to the monster, and as we're constantly dealing damage and applying the blast blade on them, and most monsters are actually weak to this, but what it does is just pretty much applies a fixed amount of extra damage onto an unbroken monster part. So it allows us to get off those wounds. So it kind of pretty much helps you open up some more wounds on the monster. And it's usually about 150 damage every time it gets applied to them. So as you're sitting there dealing damage with the sword and shield, and then you just get that little explosion of 150 damage. So it's just perfect for raw damage builds, in my opinion. So it's like, why not? If you're going to go for raw damage, then just go for all blast infusions with your attack infusions. So it's not a big focus, it's just an extra layer of damage in the mix. So some final tips I want to share with you for this build is, of course, when using the sword and shield, you want to use your timed blocks as much as possible to get off those perfect guards and to trigger those clash moments, because those are always epic. I will probably explain this in every build that uses a shield. Always go for those perfect guards, so that way you can also trigger offensive guard skill to give you some more damage as well. Also, another tip is go for the perfect rush as much as you can, especially when the monster is stunned. This is a great combo to go for, and that's triggered by using the, doing the back step and then going for the full triangle Y combo, and then it allows you to leap in the air, and then you can come down with a charged chop. It's just a great DPS combo with the sword and shield. And then charge chop in general, which is by hitting YB or circle and triangle, it just allows, once you hit a certain part with the charge chop, it does continuous hits with that, so that triggers opening wounds up faster. And with flare that we have a little bit of points in with this build, this also helps. And then of course, like I said, the blast blade will also assist with this as well. So always go for those charged chops and the perfect rush combo, followed up by the backstep. And another tip that I want to share with you guys is make sure to remember that you can use some of your quick items while your sword and shield are out. You don't have to sheath your sword and shield to use some of your items. Some people actually forget this, but you don't have to put away your weapon and use an item if you don't want to. So it just adds more to the versatility of the sword and shield. The sword and shield is a fantastic weapon when it comes to this. We can block, we can chop, we can slash, we can stun with our shield attacks, which is another tip. Make sure to use the forward B or circle combos to do your shield attacks, so that way you can stun the monster's face. So it does everything for you, and this is why I love using the sword and shield. Well, that's going to be it from us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel, as we got some more builds coming your way, especially with the new title update. We'll be putting out some content for that as well. So stay tuned for more updates. Make sure to hit that bell icon so that way YouTube can notify you guys when our videos go live. If you want that and more, then welcome to Lost Days Gaming. And also, guys, make sure to check out the Mobalytics link if you want a more detailed breakdown of this build. And also, if you want to join our Discord and or become a member of the channel, we would love to have you and join our Lost Days Gaming community. That's going to be it from us, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.